viewers, it's James Kalm, your half-assed reporter, the guy on the bike, welcoming you back for the 13th season of the Kalm Report and Rough Cuts. We're gonna run into 55 Christie and try to get in and see an exhibition by Marc Horowitz. Well, I just bumped into Trudy Benson and her husband Russell Tyler. They said this was the best show they'd seen tonight. Okay, tonight is one of the big opening nights, and there are probably 50 gallery openings. Well, I haven't been in this building since Canada moved over onto Grand Street. We're going to run into the Johannes Vogt Gallery. Well, in the spirit of full disclosure, I have to say that I received an email as well as a very generous contribution to the Kalm Report from Marc. I told him that I couldn't guarantee anything, but I would try to pop in for the show. And well, seeing as how this is the closest opening on this end of the Brooklyn Bridge, I thought I would start out here. What do we want to talk about? The paintings, of course. What do we always talk about?
Oh, shit, man. I mean,
tell me the title of the show.
It's called A Discord in Our Spiritual and Material Harmony.
A Discord in Our Spiritual and Material Harmony.
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually taken from Tarkovsky. It's from, I'm a really big fan of Tarkovsky, so all my titles come from his screenplays.
Let's go over and take a look at a painting. Actually, I like this one, but I'm thinking your kind of contrast, the way that you're talking about the spiritual versus the material, in a lot of ways you could say that that's kind of metaphorical reference to the way you're handling your paint. You know, you've got kind of some thin things, washed in things, and then some very chunky hunks of pigment.
I mean, I look at it as like a rift in time-space, you know? So like you're seeing like this older like master study underneath, and then this color sort of overlays, and I feel like that's this rift, you know? It's like an ultra dimensional.
So you're from California, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you teach at the Otis Institute?
Used to.
Used to.
And
you escaped?
Well, I escaped, man. I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to teach.
That's interesting. One of the things that I would also like to ask you is that I've been noticing that there are a lot of California painters, young California painters I've been seeing recently that are very much into the heavy facture, you know, lots of chunky paint.
Yeah.
Is there, I mean, do you feel that there's kind of a movement out there of some young people that are getting kind of funky? Because it was always kind of the New York thing was dealing with oil paint, and California was seen more as, you know, thinner paint.
I mean, I've always been a fan of like Auerbach, you know, and like Soutine and painters like this.
They're fantastic.
And so, you know, my paint maker here in New York, Robert Doak.
What's his name?
Robert Doak. You know this guy?
He makes paint?
Oh man, he's fucking amazing. Unfortunately, he's going out of business because he lost his lease. And so I started making my own paint. And so
good for you.
You can make it thick or thin. I'm old school, man. And so like, I like the thick paint because it's almost like I was comparing it to cinema. Because like when you're in a movie theater and you're looking at a movie, those characters that are on the screen are surrogates for you. And like the paint is tactile, it feels like it's a surrogate. It feels like the painting is trying to come out and reach and touch you. I don't know, there's something...
Well, there's the combination of the color of the surface, but also the touch of the artist, I think, is more emphatic when you've got some heavy paint on there. Look, Marc, I'm going to run around and look at the rest of the show, and I got about 20 other openings I'm supposed to make it to. Anyway, thanks. I'm going to maybe pop over and see your wife's show if I get a chance tomorrow. All right, congratulations. Thanks, Marc. All right. Well, okay, so that was sweet. So tonight is going to be kind of like a round robin if I can get to it. I'll try to get in some other shows. Most of them are in Chelsea, so I might get hit by a car before I get over there. This piece is titled The performance will now begin 2017. Inkjet print, oil stick, oil, charcoal, acrylic, spray paint, pencil on canvas in the artist's frame. Oh, okay, so I guess these sections that look like drawing here underneath, well, maybe he collaged in some kind of old master drawing and then painted on it. This one, of course, caught my eye. This is the trees are bent over from the wind. It has become cooler and something is finally escaping, breaking through. And again, oil stick, oil, charcoal, acrylic, spray paint on canvas and artist frame. Well, there's also a Canadian painter that I've been following for probably 10 or 12 years now, named Kim Dorland, that likes to use chunky paint like this. And well, I like Marc's color. He's a pretty good colorist. Oh, this is great. Wandering aimlessly between the trees, I stepped in a puddle of melted snow. Okay, the titles might be a little a little bit long. You can go back maybe 3 months and take a look at actually, it's the installation of a show that Russell Tyler was putting together. It's a double show. Eleanor Anton is also one of the artists, but this kind of shape here makes me think of some of the things that he was dealing with. So I like the really nice, hot, vibrant and intense colors on this warm gray, kind of neutral background. Let's see if we can squeeze this all into the frame. Nothing says the same from 1 minute to the next. 2017. Well, I've been reading the Pacavia catalog from his recent Museum of Modern Art show, and one of the themes that they keep harping on is that he was able to take kitsch or very banal kinds of themes, like the Spanish ladies and picture postcards, and kind of through some bizarre sense of will or perversion, he was able to turn them into interesting paintings. And I would say that Marc is doing the same kind of thing. We've got a very simple, hey, this is your painting class assignment. Paint a still life, and we'll put the Chianti bottle and a couple of onions out there. Some of these skins that he's sticking on or leaving stuck in the paint, they look kind of dangerous. Well, I'm going to try to run through this because I want to try to make some other places, but This is a nice drawing. I think this is oil stick. This is titled All Around is Quiet 2017. This is 60 by 48 inches. And here we go. We've got our vase of flowers. It doesn't get much more kitsch than that. But no, Marc is nice, and his use of kind of the tertiary colors. Exuberance is nice. So this has been Marc Horowitz, a discourse on our material and spiritual harmony. The Johannes Vogt Gallery. Well, we're going to try to run on to Chelsea. Probably about 5 minutes before closing time. I'm gonna run over and try to pop in at a show. I know the artist, maybe they'll let me stay in here after closing time. To AMERINGER McENERY Yohe. And they're already shutting down. We're going to try to make a run through of Franklin Evans paintings. Actually, it's probably a good thing that we stopped in a little after prime time. You probably couldn't see the paintings or walk around in here because of the mobs, but looks like it's cleared out a little bit. It's Amanda Church. Okay, I went to the back room. Hey, there's Franklin. Forgot to do a little shout out for some viewers that have responded in Mexico City, Western Phnom Penh, and Iceland. We'll start here. These titles, they're printed in lowercase and they're very small. Yeah, acrylic on canvas 68 by 66. Well, I took a look at Franklin's press release, and I will give you a kind of a brief synopsis of what I retained. You can go back and check another show that he had here maybe a couple years ago, and what Franklin is known for was making installations that used a lot of the leftover detritus, garbage and stuff that was left over from your studio. So there was a lot of masking tape, scraps of paper, sketches, things like that, that he would then kind of structure the gallery spaces with. And also he was very interested in art history and just the history of painting. And he talked about how he was, in this new body of work, he was ripping on a lot of various artists that he liked. So we'll skim down here. Oh, it looks like there's part of an Alex Katz. Some Matisse. Keep your eyes open. Also, I think that he's dealing with the idea of kind of collaging in a lot of things in various ways, various time frames. Oh, I like this piece. This is titled Matisse Cézanne Flaubert to Léotard and de Paint, 2017. The way that it's kind of collaged, and although these might be hand-painted little sections, and then he's got some text. Frederick Goupil's General and Complete Manual of Painting. So I like staying kind of loose and scruffy on this. There's a lot of bare canvas, and it looks like he just kind of like pasted these little sections of paintings over the top of his lines of text. He knew that his only hope of survival as an artist lay in stripping down his life as he had stripped down his work, centering existence on studio and establishing a working rhythm that would... This one is called Spaghetti Light. Acrylic on canvas, 87 3/4 by 76, 2016. Okay, so this one looks like we've got mostly Matissean themes. And even these kind of swooping, pouring blob forms coming in there, definitely something from Matisse's flower collages. So I like the way that he builds up his acrylics, you know, painting with a lot of increasingly thicker and thicker layers of pigment. You know, he also talks about how he was well known for his environments, but he felt like extracting and kind of focusing in on the paintings would be a good way to approach this new body of work. And this one is titled Orange Order. 53 by 43. Well, we visited the William Pohida exhibition, and William does a lot of work that's kind of trompe-l'oeil. It looks like pages of the New York Times Magazine section, or pages of Art Forum, or even museum labels. And I would say that a lot of Franklin's work kind of looks like the buildup you would have in your studio on a wall where you kind of collected your interesting castaways or photographs or illustrations of things you're interested in. This is titled Begruendrift. This looks like we've got a kind of a cutout of a painting, and then this looks like slide frames. Remember those, folks? 35mm slides. This is titled Arabesque Design. It's 102 by 63. So we've got a list or a grouping of various signatures: Janet Fish, Philip Guston, Jane Freelisher, it's even got a nice simulation of a Ben-Day dot photograph. Here's one of my favorite guys, Stuart Davis. There are things about this kind of acrylic painting where you don't really close out the weave, you still leave a sense of the fabric in a lot of this. I find is nice, kind of presents the color in a very bold way. Also, this is interesting in that a lot of this is horizontal and vertical striping, but he's interspersed these kind of swooping arabesques here and there. Let's run in the back room. I wanted to get a shot of this piece. I don't have a title, but I assume it's something dealing with Matisse. And, well, we've got one of his strips of masking tape kind of draped over there. Well, it's 15 minutes after closing time. I caught up with Franklin. Congratulations.
Thank you. I think you caught me at closing time 3 years ago, too.
That's my opening time, but
yeah.
Congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
Tell us about the title, Painting.
Painting is, I think this painting kind of is painting.
Okay.
It's like painting other paintings. So this one, I'm painting areas that encompass the signature. Mostly dead artists.
But these are also people that you admire, or you just...
I admire so many things. So
yes.
Yes, I think that is almost exclusively, but a wide range. But even like a contemporary Vonjican signs her paintings, or Tal R.
Tal R, all right. Okay.
Tal R.
We like Tal R.
There are very many contemporary people who sign on the front. So
that's right.
Fish I really like because her shows tonight also. There are a fair number of DC Moore artists in my sign paintings. But, you know, Bernard, Matisse,
Philip Guston, Courbet, John Wesley.
Mostly things that happened this past 2 years, that were either up at museums or at gallery shows.
The other thing
mostly in New York.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about was you made a reference in the press release to kind of taking the paintings out. You were formerly kind of known for doing these installations using a lot of kind of the rubbish and stuff that was left over from your studio, and this kind of you've extracted the paintings and just kind of focused on them. You want to talk a little bit about what that brought that about?
I mean, like my question was like, you know, my paintings. I had almost 10 paintings. Maybe there were 8 in the last installation, and they were stretched on canvas with no collage.
Yes, they were.
But they, you know, a lot of people. I remember, like in the past 3 years, the question has been, "Oh, you had paintings in your show," and so I thought I need to take them out to emphasize that that's a big part of my subject, looking at painting and making painting. And I also, for myself, wanted to see if I could make a painting that contained as much of the full exposure of how I think and make stuff that's in the studio environments as my installations. Can I do that, put enough of that in a painting for it to stand as an object to show that?
Sure.
So
and also,
the promise.
You're going to be making more stuff that you can then take and put into the environments again, so you're kind of bouncing back and forth between the two.
I am. I mean, if you've seen where these were made, it really does look like the past installations. So this was strange 3 days ago when I saw them up in the gallery without its environment. Although I'd studied it on, you know, like a computer model of what they would look like.
Sure. How long would you spend working on a painting like this?
I don't know a lot. I mean, the whole show took about 18 months.
18 months.
The first one over there was started at the McDowell Colony and called Alexander Studio, which is the name of the studio I was in.
Ah.
So the kind of trompe-l'oeil carved doors of Rodin, Da Vinci, Rubens were my doors in Alexander Studio.
Really?
Yeah. So that kind of, just like it's like, you know, it's like all artists, is the visual information around us inspires us and becomes starting points.
Now, are these based on little 35mm slides? I was kind of looking at the...
No, they're prints. They're mostly by photograph, mostly. There's some digital, I mean...
I don't think most people know what a 35mm slide is anymore anyway, so...
It's just your joke. That's what I'm slow at that.
Okay, let's take a look at this one as well.
This one alludes to Carrie Smith.
Carrie Smith.
Joseph Albers.
Yeah, we like Carrie.
And Cezanne.
It's a cool dude.
The rocks and pines at Fontainebleau and MoMA is split in 4 parts, the corners, sort of corners.
Right, Cezanne.
Smith, I spelled his name out, Carrie Smith. So it's kind of like the color relationship in the way that, you know, he uses. He's thinking about color in a relative ways. Like
he's one of the people that is a formalist, but there's still enough kind of whimsy and fun things happening that it doesn't get too boring and dogmatic.
This painting is also thinking about Carrie because his are like hard edged but handmade.
Yes.
Here I use taping but not taping. There's a lot of hand, and so that's a big
taping and not taping. That's a nice contrast.
You start seeing the edges carefully, and you're like, oh, those weren't taped, but oh, maybe that one was. And so Carrie and I have talked about, you know, that. Like that's what I really kind of like about his paintings as a hard edged painter is they are hand, and you see it. You see kind of the slips. So this is part of this subject in that. And Carrie was here earlier. He was standing here, and he's like, "This is my favorite painting," and he didn't know that he was being referred to at that point.
Subconsciously, the name and stuff is coming through there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Franklin Evans, congratulations, painting here at AMERINGER McENERY Yohe, right?
Yeah, AMERINGER McENERY Yohe.
Okay. All right. And as we always say at the end of these things, geez, it's quieted down. Thank you, Kate.